Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It is me, it is I, it is she, it is her, it is thee, it is who. It's Rosie Rosette 2020. I can't see the screen. Like, I can see close up, but I can't see the screen. Like, I can see this perfectly, but when I'm looking at the screen, I can't see it. So you know what? I don't know. I like this is just wonderful, but I can't see you guys. So if I'm like a little cockeyed or whatever, just, bear with me or whatever. But now the screen is fuzzy. So I guess I got to do this. You know how when people do this or whatever? Okay, I got to do this. Okay. So it is me, it is I, it is she, it is her, it is thee, it is who, it is Rosie Rosette 2020. Pow. Listen, I can't do this. Lord, this is. See, now I can see the screen now. Okay, well, I guess I can do without it. I guess I can do without it. I don't know. Maybe when I read, which I never do anymore. But okay. All right. No, I do it a little. Actually, I do a lot on Instagram. But I need to start reading books again. Okay. So, anyway, welcome back to my channel. It is me. It is I. It is she. It is her. It is thee. It is who? It is Rosie Rosette 2020. Anyway, listen. Let's get in. Oh, shoot. Okay. Before I get into that, before I get into the BMF, yes, because it's getting good, um, I do want to reiterate the fact that this is the month of October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Ladies, that's why I have on the pink wigs and my little pink t-shirt. Say meow. Say hi to the kitty. Say hi to the kitty. All right. You know what? I cannot win with these t-shirts. They're getting too big, getting too small, whatever. Okay, but look, y'all gonna see this. See, y'all gonna see this cat today. Shoot, there we go. There we go. All right. Okay. Anyway, now my eye hurts. Put on those glasses and my eye hurts. Ooh, what's it again tonight? Anyway, so it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Ladies, please, please, please get your mammograms, okay? We need you. We need you. We need you. One day, I think maybe on the 15th, if I'm not too busy. Oh, that's the last day that I'm going to wear the pink, I think. No, maybe not, because I got a little few more wigs. Maybe the 20th. Anyway, okay, this is not. Women, get your get your mammograms. All right. Anyway, okay. So let's jump into it. So BMF is good. I didn't think that it would be this good, but um, it's very intriguing because, for one, it's partially, I think, based on a true story. Based on, not partially, you know what I'm saying? It's somewhat fiction, a little fiction. I don't know how much fiction it is, but oh, you know what? I like it. And little Meech is really good. Like, really good. You can tell that him and his father have really talked about a lot of things because the way he feels it, and he's a good actor. I saw something with 50 Cent saying that he, put him up in LA for 2 years. Meech didn't even know. Big Meech didn't even know. But he put him up in LA for 2 years to take acting classes. And I saw another snippet with Little Meech in it, and he said that, while his father was in, I don't know when, maybe when he was younger. It had to be when he was younger because his father's been in for a minute. But anyway, when he was younger, his mom would take him up there and they would spend all day there. Like, he really, even though Big Meech, has been in jail for a while. Has it been 20 years? That, no. Well, anyway, um, his mother definitely took him up, and they spent hours there, like hours. I'm assuming on the weekend, so that he had to go to school or whatever. But when he went up there, he spent hours with his child. Like, I'm assuming that it was very important to me to make sure that his son did not go without a father figure. That being said, how many kids does Meech have? Like, I know he got more than one kid, right? No? Okay, well, whatever. All right, so I took good notes this time. All right. So in the beginning, when the show first came on or whatever, so see, I don't know who is who, but somebody, one of the boys, either was Terry or Meech, they were cooking, and they're cooking some ground beef, and I think Terry was cooking, and then Meech came in and was like, "Dude, I hope you cooked some for me and my sister, the sister, or whatever." And dude was like, "Yes, enough, some in the refrigerator, whatever." And then he opened up the refrigerator, and I was just like, I was thinking, I know this has nothing to do with it, but I was thinking, I was like, God, there's no food in that refrigerator. And I'm just like, wait, there's 5 people living there, and like there's nothing. But you know what? Now that I think about it, my refrigerator when I was growing up was real bare like that. Actually, mostly all the refrigerators that I opened the door to was really bare. So maybe it's a sign of the times, because believe me, my refrigerator is stacked. I mean, it is stacked because I like to cook. And, I'll cook and then put stuff in. I'll cook and I won't even eat. As a matter of fact, I got some chicken. I don't know if I'm going to fry or bake it. I might fry it. That I'm going to give to the homeless tomorrow. Like I'm going to make some chicken and then some tuna sandwiches for the homeless that I'm going to give out tomorrow. But my refrigerator stays stacked. Okay, this is not about me. Anyway, so someone ended up breaking a plate. And I guess, is Meech the one who's narrating this or whatever? I mean, are we is this about Meech, or is this about Meech and Terry? Anyway, whoever's narrating it, he was saying that, trust is everything. And so they knew they were both going to get spanked or whatever, but they didn't snitch on each other. So, and I guess so they both got their butts whipped, not the little girl, but the 2 brothers or whatever. And they had or have a tight bond. Anyway, that says a lot about them. I know they both, did time and are doing time, but that says a lot about them, that bond. And even when Terry, he was in the hospital for when he got shot in his eye or in his head or whatever, he couldn't even stand up, but he was trying to leave so that he could be with and protect his brother. I grew up, there's nothing like, that brotherly, sisterly bond. I personally grew up as an only child, although I do have 2 half sisters. They grew up together, but I didn't. I grew up as an only child, so my mechanisms on life and, how I don't like people wearing my stuff and, that loyalty thing, I guess it's a little different for me. Only children are kind of different. But anyway, okay, so they, you see them both getting, oh, excuse me, so sorry. I am so sorry, that's so rude, but I have to, yeah, all right. You see them both, the mom is spanking their butts or whatever. Okay, so then, all right, so then after that, you see somehow Pat, the drug dealer, the guy who supplies the drugs to Meech, I guess he catches up with Meech or whatever. So he gets in the car, and then it's kind of weird because, Meech, for a minute, he kind of blacks out, and he's talking about Jopro, whoever the guy who got killed by one of his lieutenants, who Meech asked him, did you try and shoot Terry or whatever, and he beat him up, but he didn't kill him. His lieutenant killed him. But anyway, so Meech had a flashback while he was in the car with Pat. He visualized Pat as being the guy who died. He was all bloody and all that other stuff or whatever. And then Pat was talking to him, but Meech kind of zoned out or whatever. And he was just like, I guess he had a lot of anxiety or whatever. And I think he does because, I don't think he was a killer at that time. And so, I think he was mentally just kind of screwed up. And any regular person should be screwed up if you witness a killing. You know what I'm saying? I've never witnessed a killing, but don't push me. Okay, so Pat, I'm just playing. So Pat was saying, listen, I need my money. Okay, I need my money now. I don't know if it was from the prior episode when, remember the two lieutenants, they were in that crack house or whatever, and then they like kind of messed up some stuff or whatever. So I don't know if they took a back seat from that or whatever. I'm not exactly sure why Pat was, riding him about the money. But anyway, so Pat said, you know what, you got 5 days to give me my money, and I'm putting 10 points on. I don't know what 10 points means. So does that mean 10%? Does that mean that he wants his money plus an additional 10%? So that was that scene. All right. All right. But you know what? I really do like that music. At least you can show me love. I think it's who's the guy who sings Charlene? Come on back to me, Charlene. I kind of like that, I like that hook. At least you can show me love. And you guys got to read in between lines, because everything is put together, all the lyrics, everything is flowing for a certain reason. That is telling you that something about love, and I think Meech was really big, or is really big, on loyalty and showing people love and giving it back. I don't know. I don't know him. Don't know anything about BMF or whatever. And I'm just not, whatever. Okay. So then the next scene is Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is just not as fine as he used to be. I mean, I know he's old. I don't like those dreads. I don't like his dreads. I wish he would just have the, you know, who's the guy in from Compton in LA who has the long perm? I just wish he would just let his hair go. I don't like those. And I wish he would gain a little weight, just a little. He's just too, it's like he never developed. He needs to put on at least 30, 40, 50 pounds. But anyway, so Snoop Dogg, the next scene is that Snoop Dogg is the pastor or whatever, the officiant, and they're baptizing the baby, or they're blessing the baby, or they're naming the baby. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but Snoop is there, and then the husband comes in, and then, they talk about the fact that Terry, they may have made a mistake on Terry's eye or whatever. And Snoop, the pastor, was saying, hey, I have a cousin, and that, if you need anything, if there was a mistake, then she can help you out. And I think he said somewhere that I can't remember, I didn't write it down, but he was trying to tell the husband, hey, this is what this word means. And the husband was like, listen, the father, I know what that means, or whatever. The father seems like he was a little arrogant. Or he just had, I don't know if he's controlling, whatever. But okay, that's how they portray it. So the baby gets baptized, and I think he was like negligence. Maybe that's what it was, or whatever. And then, the husband's like, I know what negligent means, or whatever. Okay. Anyway, so then Meech comes in, right? And then Meech is like, the pastor's like, hey, Meech, what's going on, or whatever. So the father, but he walks in because he has the keys. The father goes over and he was like, oh, give me your keys, because if you don't live here, you don't have the right to just walk in. You shouldn't have the keys. All right. Now, trip on that, because that's a trip, okay? But later on, it gets ugly, but okay, whatever. All right. Okay. Then, so it's not Omar like the guy in Michael K. Williams in The Wire. His name is Lamar, but I was calling Omar, Lamar, whatever. Okay, so what? Okay, so then there's a scene where Omar and like all the people from the opposing gang, or drug dealers, whatever, this guy's like, oh, we need to listen to old boy or whatever. And the guy who helped Omar, saying I can hook you up with some game or whatever, he was like, yeah, we're gonna listen to him until Joe Blow. what's his name? Jomo comes back. Well, Jomo was not coming back, but but so they're listening to Omar. Omar, he's a very intelligent young man. Oh, it seems like Omar and Meech have the same intelligence. It just seems like Omar has a couple of mental violent issues. Okay, he can't has a problem with his temper. So then there's another scene where the cops come and um, they ask Terry, like, okay, dude, how are you a teenager and you're riding in the Benz? Because the Benz that you were caught in, or that you got jacked for, whatever, the car was a Benz. Like, how were you, riding a Benz and you're a teenager? And then my thing is, well, how are they riding Benzes and their parents, their mortgage is the parents can't pay the mortgage, so something just doesn't seem right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gonna be staying with me, wearing gold chains and buying Benzes or whatever, and I can't pay my rent. Now I understand that, as parents, we're not supposed to look the other way. But if you staying in my house and you live and fly and, parlaying and whatever, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna be working every day, busting my tail, and you ain't gonna pay me nothing. So I guess there was a real problem with, the dirty money and clean money, even though there was no clean money to pay the bills, enough clean money. But I still would like to know why there wasn't enough, and both parents were working. Um, but the mother did say that when the car broke down, that's when everything just went to mayhem. But still, Michi or Terry could have, because if Terry is paying for baby showers and where the girl lives and her hairstyle, now Terry's girlfriend's hairstyle was really cute. But I have another question. Okay, so at the dinner table, the father asked Meech, when am I going to see my grandson or grandchild or whatever? And, Meech was like, oh, they went out of town. So who is Meech's baby mama? I know it's not Cash Doll. I didn't know that was Cash Doll. I'm too old to know who Cash Doll is. But I was just like, oh my gosh, she's really, really pretty girl. And I saw her on the interview. Okay, so anyway, but who was Meech's baby mama? Like, okay, let me keep on going. All right. So Omar, okay, cops get, okay, so after the cops leave Meech's house, parents' house, they get into it because it's a black cop and a white cop. And then the white cop is like, why are you, treating the Verdantly, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but why are you treating those guys like goat or whatever? Like, why'd you let them go with that? And then the black cop is like, listen, I was doing this when you couldn't even, direct your pee to the toilet or whatever. And he was like, and if you ever ask me something like that again, I'll beat you up like you stole something. I was like, oh, okay. So apparently Meech, I'm assuming that Meech paid the cop off very well. Okay? Because the cop dropped the boy off to Meech, J-Lo or J-Mo. All right. So next, let's see. All right. So then the food truck. So then there's the next scene where the food truck, so I guess they were out in front of a plant. And then, there's two lieutenants. It's, the two top lieutenants is the boy and the girl. And so, they're just standing around. And then a cop or security comes by and they're like, listen, you can't, be standing up loitering. Is that the correct word for it? Anyway, you can't be doing that around here. And he was like, I know, a woman like you, I know what you're here for, whatever, and everything. And they were like, you know what, go ahead and go. Because we can stand in where this public loitering. I'm not pronouncing that right. But anyway, So they were like, well, this is a public, corner. We can go wherever we want to. We can stand here, whatever. And so the cop was like, you know what? If you're here when I come back, then I am going to call the cops on you. So anyway, Meech comes in and then he's like, what's going on or whatever. It seems like kind of slow. And then they were like, yeah, it is kind of slow, whatever. And then Meech is like, well, look, you guys got to make this money. We got to pay this money back or whatever. And they were like, listen, they're talking, and then Meech is just looking around and whatever, and then he sees the blue truck or whatever. And so then, okay, so that's that scene. So then after that scene, I have Lamar and Cash Doll, and it says I didn't know. I don't know what that's going on. I don't know why I said that. I'm trying to think of what scene was that. Oh, okay. So Lamar and Cash Doll. There's a scene with him playing with Cash Doll's daughter. And because I don't know the girl's name. Anyway, she was now I don't think she was Meech's baby mama, but I think her and Meech were together, whatever. But she was with Lamar before Meech. I still don't know who the girl's father is. I don't know if it's Meech. I don't know if it's Lamar. I don't know who it is, but it's somebody. So anyway, it's not Lamar's baby. And so they're playing the game or whatever, and then they're playing Monopoly, and Lamar just really loves that child. He really wants to be a father, and he really loves that child. So anyway, he's saying that I'm gonna be here, and you really don't have to worry about nothing. I mean, he's just like really throwing game. Now I don't think that they have had sex yet or whatever, and I hope not, because he was screwing girls in the bathroom. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So then the other scene goes back where so the blue truck back at, they go back to the scene at the General Motors or wherever, and then Meech is like, hey, you know what? I can hook you up. He talks to Fonzo, who's the owner of the blue truck or whatever. And then he's like, he gets a brainstorm. He's like, he's looking around or whatever. And then he talks to Fonzo or whatever. And so then the next scene is that they're at a strip club, and it's Terry and Meech, and then Pat comes up and it's like, what are y'all doing at this strip club? You need to be making my money and all this or whatever. And so then they're like, dang, so they're kind of spooked. And so then, Terry's talking to Meech like, come on, dude, we got to figure out how we're going to make this money and da da da. And so then Meech is looking around or whatever, and then he sees a guy, I guess he had on one of those uniforms from the plant, talking to the girl. And so then he goes over to the guy or whatever, and then he gives him something, free at first or whatever. And he was like, listen, you're going to like this or whatever. And so then he says, listen, I got more of this. So then Meech goes, and I guess he pays the girl some money. And then Terry's like, what are you doing? And then he's like, don't worry about it. I got this or whatever. So then you see the next scene or whatever. I don't know. I'm skipping because I can't remember all this or whatever. So then, okay, so then the cops are like, so then the next scene is like, okay, they're at the cop station, right? And then the white cop is like, yeah, the cops are like, the white cop or whatever he is, he's like, there's a missing person, Jomo. The mother hasn't seen him in a while. And so then, once that says, because then the black cop is like, oh, I don't know who that is. And then the guy was like, well, how do you not know when you've been dealing with these people? Okay. So then, oh, my eyelash or whatever. I'm waiting on my UPS package. I ordered some more wigs from Amazon and they haven't come. Anyway, so I'm kind of like pressed. But anyway, so then I guess they display how Mayor Young, said, listen, don't come in 8 Mile. I don't give a fuck. You can do whatever you want to, but do it outside of 8 Mile. So I guess there was a little, he was explaining, Meech or somebody was explaining, the narrator was explaining how Mayor Young, didn't allow any state patrols or anything in Detroit. So, but they sold a lot of their stuff in Ecorse and in River Rouge, which is out, on the perimeters of Detroit. So since they did that, they were on them. That gave them jurisdiction or restriction to be on them. Okay, so the black cop, was telling Meech, listen. Well, in another scene, they like pulled up on Meech and Terry or the lieutenants or whatever, all the boys, and Meech was like, "Well, what's going on?" or whatever, and then he whispered to him, "I can't help you no more. You're on your own." He was like, "Dude, that's what I paid for." He's like, "No, it's a different game." So anyway, so then, all right, okay, Mary Young. Da, da, da. Okay, so then the next scene is they go back to the burger truck, the blue truck or whatever, and then now the Meech Meechy goes up to the guy who we saw at the strip club. He was like, "Yeah, how'd you like the stuff?" And he was like, "Oh, dude, that was cool." Whatever. He's like, "I got more where that comes from. Go up to that blue truck." So then there's a scene where Terry and Meech are, in the truck, and then Terry's like really condescending towards the owner of Fonzo or whatever. And then, he was like, what? Whatever. And he talks to it. And then the owner of the truck was like, "Listen, you can take your stuff and go." And then Meech pulls down a permit and he was like, "Oh, well, I guess you won't be needing this." And so then this was the funny part. And so then, Meech and Meech was in between Terry and the owner of the truck. And then he's like, "You know what? We can always get this money." That's one thing about Meech. He was always talking about, we can always do this peacefully and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so then, so the owner of the truck was like, "Well, I need an apology." And so then Terry pulls out a stack of money and gives it to him. He's like, "That's your apology." And he's like, "F you." And then it was funny because the owner was like, "Yeah, I thought so." Whatever. That was funny. But anyway, so then you just see, like another scene where the two lieutenants, the girl and the guy, they call it the Stone Burger or Burger Stone or something like that. And it is like flooded and people are like, "Okay, can I have 5 stone burgers with, 2 fries or whatever?" And that's how they do the thing. So, okay, that was very inventive or whatever. Okay. So next. So the next scene is Lamar goes to the hospital, and this guy, he looks like Ronnie DeVoe, I think, on New Edition. I have seen this actor before, but I cannot place it anywhere. Anyway, it's not Jomo or Joe. Yeah, Jomo, because he died. It's another guy. Anyway, so this is the guy that Meechy approached, saying, "I need you on my team," or whatever. Someone saw them or whatever, and then he was like, "Dude, get away. You're going to have to get away with that," and had a gun or whatever. Anyway, Lamar ended up beating that guy up, beat him up so bad that he was in the hospital. Anyway, Lamar went to the hospital and just like really was trying to beat him up or kill him or something like that. And he was basically telling him, "Look, you need to get out of town. Once you get healed, you need to get out of town," or whatever. And the guy was screaming, and Lamar tried to mess up his arm, and he tried to choke him, and something with the the water and everything. It was just really, really bad or whatever. So Lamar was just a monster. Okay, let me keep going because you see how many notes I took or whatever. Okay, we're almost finished. Okay, then. Okay, so that's when Pat moves. I guess I went too far. That's when Pat met him up at the strip club. And then, okay, so then the next scene is the father, comes home and the girl's there with the baby, Terry's girlfriend. And then, the father's like, "Oh, okay, so tell me about your uncle, the one with the Mercedes." And then she was like, she's a good liar. So she was like, "Yeah, that's my, uncle, whatever. Yeah, he got me a Mercedes for his birthday and da 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 da." And then Terry came in and then he was like, "Oh, so what are you guys talking about?" And then the father's like, "Oh, I'm just asking about her uncle." And then he was like, "Oh, yeah, the uncle who, whatever." So they had that story correct or whatever. And so, okay. So, all right. So then Meech. All right. So then Meech and his mom, is one thing. I don't know if there was a swing in between, but then Meech and his mom, they're in the car, and then Meech is like, like, why? I just, I can't come home or whatever, but I just paid your mortgage. And then, the mother was like, "Look, this is on you or whatever." And then, and he's like, "But, Mom." And then she was like, "Oh, listen, let me handle it or whatever. I'll take care of it or whatever." She was like, "Do not tell your father." Okay. So then the next one is Meech delivers the money to Pat. Because, they get all the money or whatever. And then he delivers it to Pat. All right. And so I think this is it. But anyway, no. Let's go. Okay, so the next thing is they're at somebody's birthday party. I think it's Terry's surprise birthday party. Somebody's birthday party. You know what? This is different. Do I even have on the same eyelashes? Anyway, so Lamar, or no. So they're at the bowling alley. I guess it's Terry's surprise birthday party or his birthday party, somebody's birthday party. Anyway, so then there's a scene where Lamar is in the bathroom with the girl lieutenant on Meech's team. And she gives up, she's like, oh, Lamar, who saw you coming here, whatever. And she was like, Lamar, don't be, doing whatever, they're just starting to trust me. And I'm just like, what? And so then he closes the door and he was like, listen, you tell me everything. Okay, I need to know where their money is, where they make their money, where they stash it, everything, or whatever. And then that's the end of that. So she told him that or whatever. So I was just like, oh no, there's always an infiltrator. Then, okay, well, so so this is because I can't remember the rest. So then the next scene is the girl, wants to Terry's girlfriend wants to leave, and Terry's like, no, I'm not ready to go. So, he's like, here's the keys. Well, why would she want him to leave early? It's his birthday party, right? But then I can understand because, she didn't want him out late. He just got shot or whatever, so blah, blah, blah. So after she gives him the keys or whatever, then Meech sees one of the guys from opposing gang. And then he looks and then he realizes that the opposing gang are all there at the bowling party or whatever. The bowling rink or bowling alley. And they're like, so then, Meech's crew looks at them and, I think it's the 50 boys. I don't know what the 50 boys is, Meech's or whatever, but 12th Street and 50 boys. Anyway. And so then, they're like, oh, how opposing gangs look at each other. Okay. So then after that, then there's a scene with, I think I'm just going to say two more scenes because this is 32 minutes. Damn, this is as long as the show. So after that, then there's a scene with the mother and the father, Meech's mother and father, whatever. And so then the father's like, hey, I just went over to whoop, 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 to the mortgage company. And they didn't allow me to make any arrangements or whatever, because they said that the mortgage was paid. And so and then the mother's like, yeah, they take, I forgot to tell you or something like that. And then he was like, oh, I told you, don't go to the church and all that or somewhere or whatever. And then she was like, oh, okay. And then, he's like, tell him that I didn't, give the money back or, tell him to refund it or something like that. And then she was like, no, I can't. And then he was like, no, tell him. And then she was like, I can't, it's Meech is the one who paid it. I think that's the way it goes. And then he was like, well, reverse it. And she was like, listen, you don't tell me, you're not my father, you're my husband or whatever. I don't have to listen to you or something like that. So then, they got into it. And so then Terry came down or whatever. And he was like, you guys, whatever. And so then the father's like, listen, you're going to tell it. And boy, be quiet or whatever. You're going to listen to me. You're going to give that money back or whatever. And she was like, I ain't giving back nothing. And then he was like, he took his keys off. And then he was like, well, if you want me, to be here or be in charge so bad, then fine. And he gave the key and I think he left. So the next, so I don't know what else happened after that. So I think the last scene, or one of the last scenes, the only scene that I remember. So then Meech is at Cash Doll's house. That's the girl who he was messing with, but she is messing with Lamar. Well, I don't know if she's messing with Lamar, but Lamar's trying to get back in so he could be the father of this child or whatever. So, he reminds me so much of my ex. Oh my God. ooh, one of my exes could do. If he could be here, he would not leave. I would never let him in. Never. Ever. I mean, he wasn't, dangerous like Lamar, but oh my God, that ugh. Um, so then Meech is at the gate, and then, he's like, why haven't you been texting me or whatever? Because in one of the scenes, the first scene where Lamar and the baby and, Cash Doll, whatever, she gets the page, and then Lamar's like, well, are you going to answer it or whatever? So anyway, so then so they're at the gate, and then, Meech is like, why haven't you answered my texts or whatever? And then, she was just like, going with that. He was like, listen, I gotta let me in because I gotta let you know. I don't care if you got company, I don't care. I gotta let you know about this too. You need to stay away from Lamar. He's bad news. So once he says that, Lamar opens the door, and he was like, so he pulls Meech or whatever, and then, Meech pulls out a gun because he has him to the thing, whatever, to the gate. And so then, and then Cash Doll is like, you gonna do this at my house, blah, blah, my child is here, whatever. And then, I think that's how it ends. I think that's how it ends. So, it's like the climax. It's coming. It's like a volcano, it's bubbling, it's bubbling, it was bubbling. But I really do dig this series because I don't know, it's just a lot going on. Lamar is a good character. Little Meech is a good character. Terry, they have some key actors. Snoop Dogg was okay. He was all right. He was all right. But everyone, even that guy who's in the hospital, who I don't know who he is, whatever. But Cash Doll is good, doing good. The little sister is doing good too. Everyone, all of the actors are really good, and it's intense. So you guys need to follow it. I don't know. You guys need to get stars. That's not sponsored. I'm just saying you're going to have to get stars because I don't see, how you can look at some of the TV shows on YouTube. I don't think you can do that. But it's good. And you have to start from the beginning, to keep it going. But it's intriguing. It is very intriguing. Okay, I got to let you go. I took too much time on this one. Bye.